Welcome to Tanked Up the podcast, all about video games and beer. I'm Ben, and I'm here with Aadil.
Hey!
And Lucy.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I think I used up all my energy with that. Yeah. I'm now like deflating in front of your eyes.
Oh, it's another deflate cast. That's fine. Yes. Let's drink some beers. Lucy, what beer are you going to drink first?
I'm back with beer this week because, for the listeners, I got a very stern email from Mr. Ben saying, if you don't drink it 3 weeks in a row, you're off the podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely
it shows that beer is more important than games, because we definitely didn't have that you don't play a game for 3 weeks rule, otherwise I'd have been gone years ago.
That's of course a lie. I'm drinking a beer which I picked up just purely because of the name. It's called Wilhelm Scream.
Nice.
It's from Pamona Island Recordings.
Oh yeah.
Never heard of.
Oh, I've heard of them.
before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where are they from?
Manchester, I think.
Salford. Yeah.
Production note: if we were more on top of our game, which I know we won't be, we would have inserted a Wilhelm Scream right
there. Yeah, because it's so often used in even games and stuff. So I like that. But it's a double dry hopped IPA. It's got Equinox BBC, Amarillo, and El Dorado. Here we go. Juicy tropical and stone fruits. Double dry hopped IPA. Contains frequent strong language and mild peril.
Nice.
Alright. Cool. 440ml can, and that's about it.
When it says
6.5%.
Pamona Island Recordings, I know, Aadil, you've had a couple of beers from Pamona Island before on the podcast, but I didn't realise it was Pamona Island Recordings.
I don't know if I noticed that in the past, to be honest.
Does that then relate not just a Wilhelm Scream back to the scream itself, but does it then relate to the band instead? Is this a collaboration with the band? Because they're fucking amazing. And if it is,
I don't know who they are.
Well, you're not as punk as I am, then, are you?
No, I just drink the beer. I don't ask questions.
And that's fair. You pour that beer, Lucy. You pour. You have a look at that. I'm going to crack a beer open from Verdant. This is called I Saw a Horse at Work. It is an IPA. Who knows? Who knows these days with fucking names? This is an IPA. It's 6.5%. Yeah. This is got extra pale ale, golden promise, dextrin, oats, wheat, and flaked wheat. It's Idaho 7, Vic's Secret, and Azaka, and I believe it's LA3 or LAIII as the yeast. I don't know. I've never come across that one, so I don't know what it is. But that's it. No flavour text on the Verdant cans, although they seem to have switched to sort of a photo. And you guys might just be able to make that. It's a very textured, very grungy image, but those horses pulling a plough on the field,
okay.
And then just a nice, very easy set of information just on the back there.
It looks like a pressure drop can.
Yeah, very similar.
Did you say Verdant? I was like, oh.
Well, Pressure Drop and Verdant, they've got their bar together now, haven't they? They've been doing a few collaborations together recently as well. So it makes sense for them to kind of take a little bit from each other, perhaps. Yeah. Aadil, you're not drinking anything this week. What have you got instead?
Good old reliable. Still doing the bubbles. And in Lucy solidarity, I am drinking out of plastic. I will also say that it is a reference to Island Recordings, because it is number 2 in a series of 3 design collaborations with Art by Volume, a project which reimagined beers as vintage vinyl sleeves.
Oh, okay.
So, like, if we look at the can again, it's like a square vinyl cover. Is the idea.
It's just arrows on here, but yeah, cool.
No, but like the arrows are in a white square and the rest is...
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. There's a circle inside. Yeah. Vinyl.
Won't resolve.
I
No,
remember
you
that.
weren't going to go that.
There.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm good at camera work. High production value.
Yeah. It's a bit more clear on a flat surface rather than a curvature cam.
Yeah. All this crazy lighting we've got lighting our beautiful faces doesn't quite work so well for cans and things. But we'll come back to you, Lucy. How is the beer?
It's nice.
Mm.
And that's it. Carry on. Now, what immediately struck me is that it's very, very, very piney. Like, getting a lot of, like, resinous notes on it.
Yeah.
On the aroma and in the taste. It's really good looking beer.
I was going to say.
It's fully opaque. Like, you'd say cloudy rather than hazy. Oh, hazy, cloudy. But yeah, it's fully opaque. It's light straw coloured. It poured like quite a large head at the first, but slowly gone down. But it's
Clings
nice,
to the glass.
big bubbles. Yeah, really nice lacing on the glass as well. But yeah, in taste wise, it's quite full. It's quite heavy. It's for 6.5%. You can feel it. It feels dense, but it's still easy drinking, and like it's got nice fruity notes at the start, but it's got that really nice piney resinous finish, slightly bitter as well.
Nice.
And it's really well balanced. Really, 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 really good. This is the first time in 3 weeks since I've had a beer on the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe more. So
it's good.
I'm happy with this one.
Yeah.
We're back.
Nice. My Verdant is similar, but less so in the sort of the piney resinous finish. Getting those tropical fruits, sort of straight at the start. It's almost a very similar colour, super opaque. Maybe yours is a little more sort of straw yellowy. Mine's a little more orange, perhaps. But nice amount of sort of carbonation on there as well.
Look at that. Just looks fluffy.
Yeah,
like a cloud.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yours looks a little
sitting on
more.
top
I don't know. I don't know whether it's just the opaque nature of it. They both look quite sort of juicy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm getting a lot of that in the flavour on this. You get it's a very light nose. I mean, it's not sort of it's not dry hopped or anything like that. But it's very, very light. But the nose and the flavour match up very well. So it's sort of quite light. You're getting those slightly stewed kind of tropical fruits. There's not a huge amount of sort of sweetness in this. It's more kind of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of orange in there, a little bit of citrus, maybe a little bit of mango, maybe something like a tropical kind of stone fruit in there as well. But then it leads on to this very easy, very pleasant bitterness, which sticks around for, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 15 seconds, and then kind of dissipates. It's not too dry. It kind of is allowed to run its course and finish quite nicely. So it's as yours was, Lucy. It's very well balanced. It's maybe not quite as heavy as yours, maybe not quite as big as yours. A little bit light for 6.5%. But really pleasant, really easy drinking, and it's going to go back super quickly, as most of our beers do. But this is just going to fly back.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, same. Mine's going that way because now that I've become used to it, acclimatized to it, like that resinous bit of finish, it doesn't cut through as much, and starting to appreciate the fruit more on the front of the taste, and like it's probably high medium / high, full bodied kind of texture to it, but even so, it's like it's smooth in a way that you can just knock it back. It's good.
Nice, good.
It's so good.
Have you had anything from Pamona Island before?
I was just gonna
No,
ask.
I'd never even heard of them before. So, as I said, the Wilhelm scream.
They got you. Yeah.
Yeah, they got me. Yeah,
I
just
actually
heard it
remember-
as I saw the can. I was like, so yes.
I don't actually remember which one I had from them, but I think it was also something with a cute name. But
Yeah, I don't
But I
remember
also
either.
remember really liking the beer.
Really happy I picked it up though, because it's a banger.
Nice. Good. Shall we move on to our topics this week? Aadil, do you want to start? Got anything to chat about, to discuss? Anything you just want to blast us with?
Drinking a lot makes you slow in the head. I've been sitting on Church of Darkness for quite some time. Played a little bit of it, and I realized I played a little more and realized like I haven't. It's actually quite shorter than I realized. It's sort of basically it's a really story driven game. It's a top down sort of isometric, not isometric, top down like GTA style ish with a slight angle. And the whole point is, if you've not heard of it, it's like you're infiltrating a cult that has moved to South America, but it's all sort of super randomly generated stuff.
Okay.
And there's multiple endings, and so the whole point is you want to play through a bunch of times to get, I think it's like 30 endings or something.
Wow. Okay.
But what's really great about it is the writing is fucking good and the voice acting is really good.
Yeah, I have heard those. That's the good parts of the game.
Yeah. And so you are a preacher, and you basically
You're
get
not the preacher.
Hmm?
You don't play as the preacher, do you?
That's your title, but you're not the preacher of the church.
Oh, I thought you were like some ex-army person.
Or is it Reverend? Now I can't remember the name. You've got this weird name that
They're a
sounds
man
like...
of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But... Oh, now I'm gonna fucking... That's pissing me off. I don't remember.
Like, I have to find it now. Archdeacon.
Sure, you're the Archdeacon.
The bishop. Just all the names.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, you've got this
Choir
weird...
boy.
You've got this weird name... title, but anyway, yeah, you're obviously someone with a certain set of skills. You get to pick your race, you get to pick
Liam
your
Neeson.
gender.
Right, okay. Yeah. Oh, you can pick your gender. I
Yeah,
thought you just,
and it. I haven't restarted it yet. But you basically, it seems like you get a different set of prompts on who's missing. Basically, you're trying to rescue a kid.
Okay.
Alex.
Okay. So it's not always just in pre-release stuff. I always saw like you play as a bloke and you're rescuing your nephew, but that's cool that it's.
No, I think so. I can't remember.
And...
No, I think you're right. I think it's always your nephew Alex, but what
right.
your background is what's randomized. That's what it is.
Okay.
But so he's somewhere in the camp, and they do change the story elements on like the letter you get from your sister on. So like what's happening, why they're worried. So more flavor. And basically the you get to pick a couple objects to take with you, like med kits, so that if you get hurt, you can heal yourself. Lock picks or like guns. But the ideal is to stealth your way through. But basically, the gameplay mechanic is really simple. There's people all around, and you push a button on your controller or a keyboard or whatever, and it basically is like a pulse, and it shows you the cone of people's vision, so what they will see. And if you are in their vision cone and they're a guard, their vision cone's red, they'll immediately shoot at you. If they're yellow, they'll come try and check you out, so you can dodge them. So it's basically you're trying to it's kind of annoying because you're like mashing this pulse button such that you can thread your way through the intricate because all the people are moving. You kind of have to dodge your way. It's like a movement puzzle game almost. And you'll get a randomly generated side quest, which means you're going to talk to someone else. And if you don't have to do it, but basically it's a big map, and Alex he's in like a large circle on the map. And if you do the side quest, the circle shrinks, and you can do another side quest, and it shrinks. So you can kind of just ignore the side quests if you want, and just just try your luck at running through the gauntlet in the big gauntlet, but of course he's going to be surrounded by a lot of guards, etc. And I think the gameplay is all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the criticism I've heard levied at the game, that the story and the writing and the like voiceovers are exemplary, whereas the gameplay is just a middling to substandard stealth action game.
And because the cones fade, like you get these weird artificially hard parts where it's just like, well, I know I need to thread through these people, but like I'm gonna nick that cone a little bit because it faded on me, and I thought I was skirting it, but they turned around or whatever, right? Like it's sort of not satisfying given like ideally you stealth through. You can go up behind people and choose to either subdue them or kill them.
Okay.
But if you kill someone, it makes the game harder, basically. So, if you get caught, like if you get your health down to 0 because people have shot you or they caught you, right? If you've not killed anyone, then it like fades to black, comes in, and you're with the head of the Church of Darkness or whatever, and he's like, we're going to show the world that we're not that bad because you haven't hurt us. We're just going to put you out at the edge of the map.
Okay.
And we're letting you go. And then you, of course, try and infiltrate again. But as soon as you kill someone, they're like, we're putting you in a cage, motherfucker. And then you break out of the cage. But again, as soon as so there's interesting mechanics with, like, once you're being chased, if someone gets to an alarm post, they raise the alarm, and then you hear the lovely voiceover, which happens all throughout. Like, the wife is, like, constantly talking about like the downfall of the US and how it's bad.
I think but then she also voiced Gladys.
Oh, is it really?
Portal. I think so. I think that's
cool.
It was, yeah.
But she's really good, and like they're basically they're basically like you literally hear all this indoctrination stuff, and it's really good because it's quite poignant, and you can see why people might want to do that.
Because they're riffing on not riffing, but making like parallels to the Jonestown.
Yeah, it's Jonestown the game, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's super interesting. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Far Cry 5 tried to talk about cults, and from what I know, failed.
No, it didn't, because it was an apolitical game.
But
apolitical.
So yeah, it's that's the draw. But it's like, I mean, this is like a roguelite, whereas instead of like, the mechanics enhancing or like in terms of gameplay, like the maps randomized, that's not the draw. It's more the story changes and adapts and so
what's nice is when you start, it does the randomized stuff at the beginning. What I really like, it's a really nice mechanical touch, is that determines like what path you're on. So if you actually get Alex back, you unlock an ending, but you can do fully random or random with respect to the remaining storylines. So like you could play it like the 30 times or whatever, and that's it. To get all the storylines, because you could purposely keep hitting that button such that it'll always get you on the path for a new ending. Cool. That's a really smart move.
Yeah, that's good.
What sucks, what I dislike is, as far as I can tell, the difficulty level is just how long your pulse lasts.
Right.
And okay. I didn't actually play the really hard one, but apparently, like I looked on other reviews just because I was like, okay, well, is there something I've missed? And apparently there's one of the hard modes is like there's no pulse, which sounds ludicrous. Because again, so like I mean, sorry for those of you listening to the podcast, but like, so you're this big, the people this big, and then the cone is like huge.
Really?
So you can imagine with 4 or 5 of them, like it's really hard to navigate because they're like it's like a proper full like FOV of like 120 degrees, but like out, I'm gonna say relatively, 15 feet plus.
Yeah.
And so if there's 5 people on screen and they're turning and chasing after you, like you're locked out, right? But I can't imagine even trying to like think my way through that without an ability to see the rough sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as I know, like, I mean, it's a independent game, very small scope. it doesn't exactly give you the tools to cope with like that, like a lot of enemies in a small vicinity, to take them out, like, I don't know, smoke bombs, or hitman them, throw a fish at their face or something like that.
I tangented myself. What I wanted to say about the alarms is that one of the things you can take with you are things to disable the alarms.
Okay.
But it's also, if you like, it's standard stealth mechanic. Like, they look for you for a while, and if you avoid them, then they do the all clear message.
They forget, yeah.
Yeah, but again, they're on high alert as soon as like you've killed someone in general. Like everything just gets like up a level permanently, and you can like hide in boxes and fridges and whatnot.
And is there like any like, as you're traversing this, like you're essentially in the jungle, aren't you? When you're traversing.
So there's
this
like
space,
huts and trees and like groups of huts and then some trees and then.
Is there like any
cameras.
like loading screens in between? So it's like, oh, I'm in high alert in this area, but when I go to this area, like things have calmed down.
It's all
and
one
everything's
giant
refreshed.
map.
Yeah,
but I don't know
that seems
if
frustrating. Yeah, if you're like always on high alert from.
Yeah.
Because
so
you alluded to Metal Gear, at least that counts down after a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
It's
also.
like you're in the
hide
high
bodies.
alert state for quite some time. A few minutes, but it does eventually go down. And when you're transitioning in between areas, it's like, okay, it's a new set of enemy patrols, a new set of AI and stuff like that. So
with Metal Gear, they didn't have the phones, so they couldn't just ring down to the next floor and in the building to say, hey, there's definitely someone around.
Yeah. So
he's
I guess
flipping everywhere.
what I will say is, it's like I said, the writing sort of makes me want to play again. I do think that they're kind of it's a cheeky way of doing a roguelike, because it's kind of the excuse for like hitting these terrible patches as well. You can just do another run.
Yeah.
Because like the idea, like there's no good recourse except, okay, I'm stuck here, and then they're gonna see me, and now they know there's an intruder, and so as soon as they know there's an intruder and word gets passed around, let alone if I killed someone, this is gonna be much harder to do. Getting to Alex is really tough. Yeah. I could just start another run, but it's like that's
frustrating.
Not a good loop for a roguelike.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, I mean, just looking at here, like some of the writers included Mark Laidlaw, Chris Avallone, and Brenda Romero as the writers, and it's like any game that has those, that kind of talent behind the writing, I'd want to see like each, path, each arc to its completion, rather than like, oh, I got caught again this time. Instead of putting me in a cage, they're just gonna kill me, and I have to restart the run over. So it just seems like what could have been a really good narrative just wrapped up in just a stealth game that doesn't really benefit from that, and it's like it's more of a hindrance. And
what differentiates the endings that you get? How is it determined? Sort of, is it determined sort of through your gameplay, how you actually escape with Alex, kind of what you do? Like,
I think it's all determined on the initial settings. So, like I said, the note you get at the beginning, and like who to talk to.
Right. Okay.
And like what that initial setup is like.
So it will.
Conditions.
Yeah, there will. But it's not that the things that you do through that run may give you one of 5 endings. It is, you've started. This is the ending you will get. The next run you do, it's a different ending that you will get. Because, okay.
I mean, that seems better, because at least then like the trajectory that you're on, you were always going to get that ending. Like, instead of like, oh, I had to, in order to get ending A, B, or C, I had to have a completely no-kill pacifist run, and then something just happened out of your control, which seems like it can happen in this game. That's better, that knowing that it's a predetermined path.
Yeah.
Because then you know that, like, oh, I don't have to replay this again just because I messed up, and I'm not going to see that particular ending, so that's good, at least.
But yeah, so, I mean, it's not expensive, but, I mean, I'm definitely not going to, like, go through, even though I like the writing, I'm not going to go through this to see a bunch of different endings. Like, it's just not gripping enough.
It's not compelling enough to keep you coming back to want to see everything.
Like, to be honest, I kind of had fun initially. I didn't get very far the first time I played it, because I just, like, it was once I, like, found out they're doing these, like, voice events of, like, the propaganda over the megaphones, or the PA system. I mean, it was just like, I kind of want to hear more of these.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, but like at some point those will run out. And then it's like, okay, well, then there's going to be like a couple of different new interesting writing pieces per run, but really, so like the thing that changes is mostly like the side quest, and where Alex is, and what the side quest person, and what they want, and that's really good flavor.
Fetch quests, or like
Kinda, yeah,
they're
a
a bit
lot
more
of times
dynamic.
like go search for this thing in all the churches or something like that.
Right. Do you get good rewards for doing those side quests? Do you get extra tidbits, or
so on your map here, Alex is somewhere, and then every side quest you do, it shrinks. So you gotta get a clearer idea of what Alex is.
That's good. Yeah.
So like you could choose to do no side quests and just fucking dodge around in the little circle, or the big circle, and hope to find Alex. And he's marked with a green. So the guards are marked with red. The non-guards, the regular cultists are churchgoers, are yellow, and then the people you can talk to are green.
Yeah.
So you know when you act like, if you go looking for the side quest person, it's really obvious who it is. There's some weird shit like talking doesn't stop the game, so someone could, like, if you're talking to someone in a house and then a patroller comes in the house, they're just gonna fucking kill you.
Wow. Okay.
That's annoying.
And like,
it's annoying. Sort of makes sense
doorways.
Though. It's sort of, you know, that would happen in real life. I mean, if
But
if
again,
this was like Rambo the game, you'd just fucking throw your Bowie knife at him, wouldn't you, and just impale him in the door or something. But
like, it's not clear. Like it goes through doorways. So like, they're walking past and they turn and then they see in the house you're in. Oh, you're talking to Alex. Now you're suddenly on the run because they're chasing you, and you're like,
yeah.
But I'm at the fucking kid.
Do you have to get him out of there? Have you got to that point, or do you just helicopter him out or something like that?
You have a
like Broforce, like at the end, just a helicopter just takes him off. It's a good game.
I can't. I've only got to Alex a couple of times, and like, I don't remember. I don't know. I think it's just a chat and then an ending. I don't think you escort him or anything like that.
Yeah, you haven't got to get to
at
like
least
point
I'm not
B
aware
or
of.
something.
I'm not aware of that being one of the like things that might be in the randomization. I don't think that's
what
like
was
one of the.
Ripley called in Broforce?
Oh, what was she called?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I just remember it being
Dunno.
very funny.
I don't remember many of the actual names from Broforce anymore.
You don't remember
man.
Rambro?
Right, well, yeah.
I mean,
Ellen Ripbro.
Oh, there we go.
That's such a good game. I love that game.
It is a fantastic game.
You ran terribly on PS4, but I still love it.
Of course, on the Broforce fandom wiki, you have a list of all of the characters.
I'm gonna have to consult this.
Yeah.
I assume it includes all of the Expender bros as well.
Yeah.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the category characters page.
Yeah.
So it's literally
Rest
all
in
the things
peace,
that
bro.
Double Bros Heaven.
No.
Mr. Anderbro.
Broforce too.
I was like, to wrap that up, we've already started talking about a game that's more fun.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I can't imagine what it runs like on Switch. Oh my god,
man,
that must be terrible.
Can't
What
be
did
that bad.
Maybe they cleaned it up.
You got a Mac code, didn't you?
Yeah.
How was
Steam
that
code.
like? Oh, it's a Steam code. Just okay.
So
Bro cops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I actually played it on the PC with the Intel card because I realized like the onboard I have the same shitty graphics situation on both computers.
Yeah.
They're both onboard Intels. I had to dump the graphics down from beautiful and at 1080p, and it was fine. It looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fair.
it runs pretty. It's pretty light. I mean, which makes sense because there's like not a lot to the game.
Mm-hmm.
so it makes sense that it runs on almost anything. It couldn't run at 4K off this PC on this 4K screen though. Nope. Couldn't even eat. Like it was such a lag in just choosing menu options. It was like really took me back. I like hit the down arrow and then it's like plunk. Yeah.
I'll try it out though. I've got a code on Xbox, so
yeah. I mean, like it's worth trying. Yeah.
Nice.
Did we
music
want to?
sounds alright as well.
Yeah, it's not bad. I actually didn't really pay as much attention to it. It's ambient music.
It's got that like country twang
yeah,
to it.
Exactly.
Swamp,
yeah. Bayou. That's the word.
Bayou.
Yeah.
Deliverance music.
Did we want to go through a Steam review?
Oh yeah, go on. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that for this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll give you one recommend and one not recommend. The recommend says, fun little stealth roguelike game. Can approach it violently or non-violent. There's a couple weapons only, pistol, shotgun, a lethal takedown, or just non-lethal knockouts. There's a few NPCs that offer options to gaining help on your quest to find Alex. The cult leaders constantly preach over the loudspeakers, droning on about a better future for their community, as you find horrors of forced labor, abuses, and bodies all around Freedom Town. 10 out of 10. Reminds me of Catholic school.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And that was by Frosty. And this one,
Thank you, Frosty.
This review is Raziel Igor. Gameplay is not very good. You can also beat the game within 1.5 hours, and this 1.5 hours includes learning the mechanics of the game, dying 3 to 4 times, and starting over from the beginning. There's some randomizations within the game, so every time you start over, objectives and locations them slightly changes. If you like randomized objective locations and randomized objectives, you might extend the gameplay time by replaying it. By random objectives, I mean, in one of them you have to talk with person A, while in the other it's person B, and their location on the map changes. You can also find person C while walking around, and they might give the information you need to get for your objective. Also, as far as I can see, the base map doesn't change, but locations and paths within the forest slightly changed. I might be wrong. There are different endings, but I've played through the game once because I did not like the gameplay, so I don't know how much the different endings are. Also, the AI of the enemies are not very good. I've only played on normal difficulty. Just like
that's a very
basically, yeah. I was just saying, I picked it not because it was so the charming one was the Catholic school one, but this one was like no, funny. This negative review literally saying what I said with a little more information and the stuff that like Lucy said.
Very curt, explanation though.
No, I thought that's fair.
I kind of like those.
That's curt on Steam is. Oh, I'm so glad they didn't sell out to Epic. Every game now. That's all I see.
Yeah. Every game, even the really low budget one man.
Yeah, I was just looking at like
weekend jams.
I just went on the community hub to see if anyone had, it's been a few weeks, see if anyone had any thoughts about the game. And just scroll back and it's like, so glad they didn't sell out to Epic.
Sam Barlow rolling in that epic cash. Just like, yeah, motherfuckers.
And this week we are announcing we're the official podcast of the Epic Gaming Store. We would get so many hate listens. All of the iTunes reviews.
Free games at
We definitely would get more iTunes reviews.
Free games anyway, mate.
They just would all be 1 star.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
What was the free game this week? Conan the Cranium? I can't remember.
Has it changed this week? Did it change? I don't know.
It
changes every Thursday.
It does, yeah. It was Abzu.
As
Abzu
we say
week.
every week and then forget. It's Canarium.
What's that?
A game?
Well, I assume so.
Give me a sec, it's loading.
Yeah, I haven't started my Epic
Steam?
store up, so I don't. Normally it loads up and it pops up, but I actually closed it, so.
So, Canarium is a chilling Lovecraftian game which follows a gripping story involving 4 scientists and their endeavor to challenge what we normally consider to be the absolute limits of nature.
What kind of game is it? Is it RTS? Is it RPG? What is it?
It's very pretty looking. It auto-played the trailer.
What kind of game is it?
It's a rock, paper, scissors
I don't know. This
game.
all looks like pre-rendered
stuff. Card game?
Match 3.
Oh, it's a first-person wander about.
Oh,
walking sim.
I think.
Is
well,
it
I
a
don't know
news
exactly
game?
what- I don't think it's a news game, and I'm not actually sure if it's first person because a lot of this is just like interesting atmosphere stuff. But
Let's
I
see
did
what
see
it says on
one shot
Steam.
with
I'm sure.
someone
I'm
holding
sure there'll be
a
more
thing.
information on Steam.
Ooh, indictment. Canaria.
Free on Epic, boo!
No, it doesn't actually say on there. I
It
like it when
is-
people actually tell me what the game is. Like, just say,
Mm.
okay, it's a platformer, it's a RPG, it's a horror
Oh
game,
no!
survival horror.
It turns out I was right. According to this review, I won't read it, but
Mm-hmm.
Canarium is a typical indie walking sim with Lovecraftian theme.
Right, okay.
Done. Playing that one.
But I will read two really short reviews. No, it's bad and boring. Waste of money and my time. And then maybe it's just me, but I'm bored in the first 30 minutes. Sorry, game sucks.
Well, maybe I won't play it.
I mean,
You've heard
you,
two
you,
reviews.
you should
That's it.
you should play it to
check.
find out if bitches love blue is wrong about game sucks.
Okay.
What does that username mean? That has so many different
I bet
connotations.
he's a cop.
Or some Viagra
Oh, man, Blue
reference,
Lives
I don't
Matter.
know.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes. Shall we move on from
Yeah.
other people's opinions and Steam reviews and things? Lucy, how you doing on your beer?
I finished.
Good.
Yay.
Should we open another beer?
Yes, please.
Good. Okay. What have you got next?
A water.
Got a beer from
Hotter.
Magic Rock. I
Yeah.
can't remember if I've had this one before. It's called Stand in Line, and it's a ginger and lime Berliner Weiss. Not sure if I've had it before.
Similar sort of canted. Looks like it Demole.
Yeah, they use the same colours and on some of these, I'm sure. The malts are Golden Promise, Golden Naked Oats, Crystal Rye and Munich Malt. Hops is T90 Lemon Drop. Other ingredients include lime zest and ginger root. Yeast is WLP001 California Ale yeast, and it is 4.5%.
Nice. Is it going down? Going down in percentage this week?
Yeah, this was the only one that was sort of cold because I got it out of the fridge. So.
That's fair. That's fair. Cool. I am going to drink a collaboration beer from North Brewing Company and Brouwerij Kees. This is an Imperial Stout.
Ooh.
It's 10%. All it says is Imperial Stout plus coffee plus cacao plus caramel. Ingredients: water, barley, wheat, brewing sugar, cacao nibs, coffee, yeast, and hops. It's actually got coffee in it.
It's like a beast.
So, I mean, as soon as I saw that the bottle shop had this beer in, I knew that I wanted it. When we went down to Bottles and Books for the stout night this year, last year, maybe at the start of this year, the one from Brouwerij Kees was absolutely phenomenal. So when I saw
they're a good brewery.
they'd collaborated for this stout, I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Plus, it's a coffee chocolate stout, so I can't go wrong.
Not really.
Well,
no.
I assume I can't go wrong.
Well,
Yeah, Lucy.
can't. It's impossible to.
Yeah, how's your beer?
Yeah, I just got a real hit of ginger when I was opening the can. Can still smell it from quite far away as well. It's got a lot of carbonation. It very much looks like a ginger beer.
Yeah.
Small bit of head. It's dissipated really quickly. Well, it is a
It
Berliner
seemed like a
Weiss, so
big
you
pour.
expect that. Yeah. But yeah, the head's almost completely gone now. But yeah, the carbonation. There's still a lot of carbonation though. But yeah, I can't smell it too much because it is just ginger in your face, and that's quite, catches the back of your throat. But do smell a little bit of lime as well. I try not to inhale as I drink. just get the ginger.
Looks
It's not
super
as,
clear.
Yeah, it's not as it's not as punchy as I'd think. Smelling it.
Mm.
The ginger's. I'd say that the lime is probably more forefront than the ginger actually. It's the ginger's definitely mostly just on the aroma, like just tasting it, like yeah, it's mostly lime. That's weird. Can barely taste the ginger, and can barely taste like the carbonation as well. It's not like fizzy, like it looks and smells like a ginger beer, but it's more like a lime cordial when you actually drink it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it sort of, you know, a little thin?
It's thin. It's light.
Yeah.
It's pleasant, but it's just not what I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more ginger, a lot more fizz, a lot more effervescence, a lot more hoppiness, just by the look of it and like the smell of it. But yeah, even like it is a Berliner Weiss. It's not that sour either.
Okay.
It's like a subdued lime. It's not.
You think that
not hoppy at all.
Is it got that, you know, with the lime? Has it got like a sort of a sharpness to it? You know.
No, it's not. As I say, it's very subdued. It's not got that sharpness. It's not got that sourness. It's not puckering your lips drinking it. It's like it's very easy drink. It's very pleasant. As I say, it's more like cordial rather than a sour. It's really bizarre. It's not what I was expecting. Like you could smell the ginger from like a few feet away.
Yeah.
And you're not really getting any of that in the taste.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's just not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
For a sour with ginger in it.
Yeah.
You're not really getting sourness. It's not tart at all.
Yeah, you kind of expect maybe just like that little bit of heat with it as well. You know, a sort of a sharpness from the lime perhaps that kind of then molds, and it's just like it just seems like the lime and ginger as a Berliner Weiss should be this big hitting kind of flavour that gives you a lot of sort of mouth burn, a lot of tongue tingle, that is just absolutely assaults you. But seems like they've gone the route of trying to make it a bit more approachable perhaps, and kind of just saying here's a little bit of this and here's a little bit of this. Like it's still a very drinkable beer. It's not something for like two people.
Yeah, as I say, like even like coming off like that quite bitter Pamona, is it Pamona Islands?
Pamona Island. Yeah.
I was expecting this to be like complete like deviation with the sourness, but no. As I say, there's nothing wrong with it. It tastes nice. It's just not what I was expecting. But I still drink it. It's still going home pretty
nice.
easily, so.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Fair enough. So the North and the Brouwerij Kees Imperial Stout has a lovely big nose, as you would expect. It's a stout. It looks a little, I mean, as it's swirling around in the glass, there's barely any head to it. Nice light sort of brown sort of head to it, but it's very, very light on the head. But it's got that nice, sweet, caramelly and light sort of chocolate nose to it. Oh my God. Almost instantly, you're hit by how smooth this is. It's so smooth. It's not thick and it's not viscous. It's a little, not thin, not at all. You know when we talk about sort of stouts that are maybe a little bit too thin and a little bit watery.
Yeah.
This kind of, it has that lightness to it in the texture and in the body, but actually it's got just a little oiliness to it. There's this slight sort of slipperiness almost to it that just gives it just that little bit more, really. But in the flavour, getting that caramel straight away, goes into the chocolate and then goes into the coffee, like flows really, really well. And I'm kind of left with this mixture of this slightly sweetened slightly chocolatey coffee. You know, everything kind of, it showcases all of those elements, but then it all merges together right at the end to give me this very, very kind of pleasant aftertaste. It's almost like a almost like Millionaire's shortbread, but kind of without the sort of the biscuitiness to it. It doesn't quite have that, and it throws throws coffee in a little bit as well. So you've got the caramel and the chocolate work really well to give you that kind of that sweetness, just with a hint of sort of dark bitterness to it, and then the coffee just kicks in, and it's just ah. I knew I'd like this. I knew I'd like this. Should have brought two.
I haven't had a good stout in some time.
Me too. I was thinking, I was at the bottle shop today, I was like, why don't I pick up a stout? Like, I saw a Northern Powerhouse one.
Oh yeah.
I think that was 10%. Should have picked that up.
Who did? Wylam did Northern Powerhouse this year, didn't they?
Like, a lot of breweries did. I think I've got.
Well, yeah, I think Wylam were the main brewery, weren't they, for the Northern Powerhouse series? Because it was, who was it last year? Northern Monk.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, but it's not this year. Wylam did them all, and collaborated with various different people for all of the different beers. And I don't think there was there 10 last year, and there was maybe only 8 this year instead. I think it took a bit of a different direction.
This one's Northern Monk and Buxton, isn't it? I thought it was. I don't know.
Show us the can. Show us the
I forget
can.
who it was.
It's a can.
It's a can. Don't know if you can see
I'm doing the closed
It is
captioning
Northern
for
Monk
the.
and Buxton. Maybe
Yeah.
Wylam didn't do all of them.
That's just one of them.
People.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure they like collaborate. Just
A bunch.
I don't know. It doesn't matter if they're up north or not. I thought it was Northern Monk, but then they have that series. I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember that one year. Was it last year when everyone was great?
Yeah,
Every
absolutely
single one
last
of
year.
them. It was
Yeah,
last year.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the Cloudwater
Wow.
Brown Ale.
Yeah, I was about to say
yeah.
the brown ale was really good. They had like tons of. They had like a double IPA and like all the IPAs were stellar.
Yeah.
It was really good.
All the IPAs were Stella.
That's a lager, mate.
Yeah,
Sippers,
that's why
mate.
I said
Sippers.
question
Stellar IPAs. It's a new
Yeah. I'm sure
type
they've
of
got.
beer.
No, they definitely won't. They don't want to make a different type of beer.
Yeah, I don't need to linger on my beer for very long because it's just fucking phenomenal.
finished,
It's
that's
so
all.
good.
It's gonna finish.
This is really, really fucking good. It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I want from a stout. This is exactly what I want from a stout, and I cannot taste the 10% at all.
Oh,
What's it
excellent.
called again?
Yeah,
It is.
like-
I mean, it's North Brewing
I mean,
Company
I'll
and
remember the
Brouwerij
can.
Kees. It's just called Imperial Stout. It's a red, fucking red, a yellow and black.
Look for a can that's vaguely wasp-like.
Yes, yeah, sort of disjointed shaped.
I'll
All
definitely
around.
remember the look of
Yeah.
that. It looks like Charlie Brown's sweater.
It does a little, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That is more accurate than my wasp-like. Although I think Charlie Brown was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, so I'm going to claim that I was making a meta joke.
Okay.
So,
Snoopy then.
Hey, black and
Catholic.
white.
what was Snoopy's?
K9.
What was Snoopy's little canary mate called? You remember?
Woodstock.
Yeah, I was
Woodstock.
going to
Yes.
say Woodstock.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love peanuts.
Right.
For
So,
almonds.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I knew
Let's
a nuts joke.
move on. So, by the time you hear this podcast, hopefully I'd have found some time to actually publish my thoughts on Greedfall, which I've spent a little bit of time with, a couple of hours. I've only explored the starting city, really, and the beginning of the game. And I've got some thoughts going up in written form. I did stream it at the start of the week, and I've got those streams saved up onto YouTube now, so if you want to see what the game's like, you can go to our YouTube page and take a look at that. You can also go
Do you
to
want to
Twitch.
put in a disclaimer for that?
Yeah. This is actually what I want to talk about.
Oh,
What I want to talk about is PlayStation Remote Play and how absolutely shit it was.
yeah.
So I streamed Greedfall from the PS4, but to stream it and capture it and all of that stuff, I had to play it through the PC. So I thought, I'll use remote play. It's worked, it has worked well before. There's been occasions where I've kind of thought, okay, just today isn't working very well. The connection doesn't seem to be there. Whether that's just an issue with my provider, the internet isn't just hitting very well. Whether it's an issue with the setup I've got, I've got my PC hooked up through a power line adapter to go into the system, to go through to the router. My PS4 is then through a switch box as well, because I've got a couple of other things plugged in under the TV into that to then go through to the router. I don't have the most optimal setup, but everything is hardwired in. And you watch the video, and Greedfall is this kind of, at least it looks like this very kind of blurry sort of mess almost. And at points it must have been chugging along at maybe sort of 10 frames per second. Yeah, it was really, really bad. And I finished the first area on just straight on the PS4 on the telly there, and it looks good. It's a nice looking game. It's not phenomenal. It's not kind of Gears 5. It's not maybe even Witcher 3 kind of level of textures and quality. It's kind of a bit more comparable to, say, and this may just be my nostalgia goggles thinking about something like Black Flag. That kind of level of quality. Those early gen PS4 Assassin's Creed games, Black Flag, Syndicate, that kind of level of graphical fidelity, but much better than what I was seeing and what was being sort of transmitted across the stream.
To be fair, this is made by a small team.
Oh, absolutely, it is made by a small team, and I think they've done really, really well at getting the fidelity that they've got through the game and implementing the systems that they've got through the game. And I talk a little bit about kind of, I'm only a few hours in, but actually I'm a little bit worried about the depth of some of these systems. With it being a smaller team, how much I can actually do versus how much I could see the potential that I could kind of do, and it just hasn't been implemented either because they haven't had enough money to do so, they haven't had enough time to do so. How that's kind of all the expertise. What has sort of stopped that from being fully implemented.
What? Sorry, I was just gonna ask what resolution were you streaming it at?
So, because everything that I capture is through Expert Broadcast, I have it at the best default setting for not having a paid subscription. So it's 1280 by 720 at 30 frames per second.
720.
That's still pretty good. Yeah.
Which should look good, and it should look better than has been captured through remote play. I mean, the only way I'm kind of going to get better, I think, from the PS4 is by using like an Elgato or another kind of capture card plugged straight into the PC.
But I was just wondering if you could try remote play where your remote play is at 720p. So it's only sending less.
Possibly, I don't know. I haven't looked at the options on the PlayStation. I just hooked straight up into remote play, and everything seemed really good. And the strange thing is that each of the streams I did were around about 40 to 50 minutes. And on the day I played, I think it was Tuesday, I did 3 little sessions. So one of the sessions, I think, for maybe the first 15 minutes, it looks all right. And everything seems to be going sort of well. And then the quality just drops. And I don't know why that is, why it's sort of an over time kind of issue, why it's not just sort of straight from the start that I'm getting like potato mode. It's kind of, it happened over time. On the second stream I did, I decided, I had to get washing out of the machine. I wanted another coffee, so I thought I'll have a break. I'll see if I can get a better resolution than I'm currently getting. And going back into it, I did. And it looked better for a little while. 30 minutes in, the sound just disappeared. Just completely cut out. It wasn't being captured. I wasn't hearing it. It just went. So, took another break, came back into it. Again, better quality. Sound was back in. But it was a really, really poor advertising for remote play on PlayStation. And I don't know whether this is the right, like, we're talking about kind of streaming, Stadia is coming out, streaming from, a central system rather than from a box in another room through a hookup. Like, how we're going to be moving forward in the future with, how our games are kind of delivered to us. It just sort of seems like at least for me, it kind of seems a little bit bleak almost. Like, people are trying to take those strides forward, but we're not quite there yet with our infrastructure to be able to take those sort of strides forward.
Can I just say, as someone who's used PlayStation Remote Play, on the times where it's like, usually it just says, nope, sorry, we can't do it.
Really?
Nothing you can do. Yeah. It's like, nope, no, your connection's not strong enough, or something like that.
Yeah.
And the other times when I've tried to do it, it's been unplayable. Just can't do it. It's like probably delay of about 2 minutes, and I'm not even exaggerating.
Oh, mine was much better than that.
But conversely, when I've used Xboxes, like I often stream Xbox to my Windows 10 like Surface.
Yeah.
And I don't have an optimal setup. I'm using Wi-Fi, and I'm on second floor. Wi-Fi's on ground floor. Wi-Fi's not the strongest. It's been fine. It's like I can run Twitch games, maybe not on the highest setting, but I can run like Twitch-based games. Not exactly like first-person shooters, but like third-person action games or something like that. And it's run fine.
Yeah.
I've had no issues. So it's definitely something to do with PlayStation Remote Play.
Yeah.
And when like they announced that they're going to be working with Microsoft to get streaming infrastructure and stuff like that, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's like there's been so many times where it's like, I don't want to turn on my PlayStation. It's too noisy, too loud. Just can't be bothered with it in general. I've just been like, I'd love to just stream it. I used to try it with Vita, it didn't work and stuff like that. It's like, I'd love just to be able to stream PlayStation. I'd probably play more games that are just locked on my PlayStation, period, if I could just play them via PC or something like that.
What about PS Now?
In a different room to the thing that's very noisy. But I just can't, because they don't have a good online infrastructure. Like, they just don't, and that's been there for like over a decade now, and it's like, I hope with the next generation they can figure something out with Microsoft, have like cross-play, better streaming services like PS Now, as you said, Aadil. Like, that's the hope, that's a dream.
Absolutely.
I'd love that, but in terms of like you seeing it as a bleak future, I think I wouldn't base that sorrow on. I wouldn't use PlayStation as the benchmark, because that is very low standards from where we are right now. Like,
well, didn't you used to have a Steam Link at a time?
I did have a Steam Link. I still do have a Steam Link. Yeah, which has been very variable in its performance. I've had days where it's been fantastic, and I've played Twitch games with zero latency. Other days it has been unusable, and I don't, again, I have no idea whether that is down to the setup that I have. It's not optimal.
Possibly.
Going through power line adapters, using the electric system in the house. And the house is 20 years old. No, probably a little bit older than that. Maybe sort of 25, 30 years old. It's not a bad system to kind of run through. It's exactly how I'm recording all of this now.
Say, the fact that we're having our Discord chat and you clearly have a good connection to
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
real time stuff. I mean, and you're sending what? I don't actually know how Discord chunks things up, but you're sending a video image and receiving them now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I get that the games are because like the streaming is you're sending video from one device to another, so that like your power line can't be that terrible, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't get it either. It's all seems more mystical than it needs to be.
Yeah. One day we'll get there. One day.
And I mean, it's going to be interesting. Kind of, I'm moving house within the next, or at least 6 months, let's say, when I found a house that I'd like to purchase. So I will have the opportunity at some point to try and alter the setup that I have, or at least run cables how I want to run them, and hook things up kind of directly to stuff and position my router kind of where I want it to work sort of as optimally and things like that. So I'll have the opportunity in the next, say, 6 months to refine kind of my setup. And I'll have the other machine, the other PC that I've got ready to kind of almost ready to go. That will be hopefully at that point usable, and my main sort of PC. So things kind of, I say bleak, but things can only get better. Not just in the setup that I've got, but as you say, Lucy, with Microsoft and Sony working together on these sort of infrastructure elements, you would hope that stuff like remote play will go, hey, here's a completely new app that's running on a very different system. All you've got to do is just now download something else and sign in, and that's it. You have a much better experience than you've previously had. I mean, and
Sony have had like good ideas like that.
Yeah.
Is it share play?
Yeah.
People's games.
Yeah.
Like hopefully Microsoft can learn from them and vice versa. So them working together is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if they want to come out with separate boxes with their own exclusives, which they're always going to do, they own these companies that they want to, make work for them. They want people to buy the hardware that they spent a ton of money on. So that's kind of almost like an irrelevancy at this point. You're going to pick the system that has the exclusives that you want to play, but we're now getting to a point where actually maybe things like playing with your friends, it doesn't matter what system you're on, your friends list can go over. Look at GOG Galaxy 2 that brings in all of your PC stuff, and you can launch any game as long as you've hooked up your account to it. You can launch any game from that now, and like that works really well. And it brings up your friends list from everything. Like,
just don't put barriers up.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, it works better for like developers as well. Like when games, get older and have less concurrent users over time. Let those people play together, so it's not just empty servers and people can't find a game or anything. Just to let people play together.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember buying before my brother got a PS4. I think it was about 3 Christmases ago. I brought him Black Ops. It was a game that we, fucking love Black Ops. You love Black Ops, Lucy. Yeah. Everyone loves Black Ops.
I played it last week.
Yeah. So I
was
bought
thinking of playing it today.
I brought it for him on the PS3 because that's the system that he had, and trying to think, he loves these kinds of games. He loves first-person shooters. He likes playing online. So I thought, right, rather than me just buying him Black Ops because I loved it, I need to have a look and see kind of what the online status is of these games. And at least, I think it was about 3 years ago, Black Ops still had about 15,000 people playing on PS3. Yeah. So it still had a good community playing on there. But
I never have to wait too long for it.
And exactly. Your Xbox kind of side is lucky that you get that now through backward compatibility. Yeah. That it's not just people with 360s playing. It is everyone who can possibly have that. At some point in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, they might turn around and everyone go, actually, there's only 2,000 people playing over here. There's only 4,000 people playing over here. But we're in a place now that we can all just play together, and actually it keeps that community going. As you say, Lucy, it kind of extends the lifetime.
Do that. I don't know if like the infrastructure, if you'd have to like.
Who knows, mate?
Put work into it to make that cross-platform. I imagine games do that nowadays with in mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I have no idea.
Like when the whole kind of like cross-play thing first came out about Fortnite, the developers turned around and was like, yeah, all we've got to do is just tell it whether it can or it can't. It's like a yes or no command, essentially, in the code.
It might not be the case.
I don't think it's that.
Mate.
No, they did. They literally said we can flip a switch.
Yeah, it was
They probably said it in layman's terms. I'm sure there's still.
Well, yes, there is some kind of thing going on, and there was it with Fortnite as well that actually for a few hours there was crossplay and people were playing.
It was Rocket League.
It was
Rocket League,
where people had kind of searched for the players that they'd been playing with, and they weren't appearing on that infrastructure.
Yeah,
because they were on the other system. So
we're just like, whoops, we didn't know. Clearly knew. Wink, wink. But I really hope for that in PS5 era. They just need better infrastructure over there. I hope it's like from a ground up kind of thing, with as least disruption as possible for
absolutely
people who already game in that ecosystem. Because if it's like, oh, you have to make a new profile and your trophies won't carry over and shit like that, I'll just be a bummer. So let's hope they figure it out. Hire some smart people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something like I'm in a very I'm in a nice position, working from home, working for myself, that I can dedicate a couple of hours during the week to stream. And I've got to a point in Greedfall where I'm not playing anymore because I'm thinking, actually, I'd like to stream the next part at least. So maybe an hour, maybe a couple of hours. But the remote play has me second kind of guessing this and thinking, actually, do I just play it, not return to it, and actually then just stream, something else, on my PC, just go and like stream war games, and then pick up Telling Lies and stream that at a later point. Or
I think that's probably the smarter move. I mean, that's kind of like my problem with sequels and stuff. Is I always like, I should play the first game, etc. And like by making these artificial gates, you end up just not playing the game you want to play.
Absolutely,
when you want to play it.
Yeah.
And
that's it. Like today, I had I came in at 4:00, finished work, came in at 4:00 today. Because Kim had to go and get something done, go and get a patch test to have her hair dyed, and I was going to go and look after Evelyn, and Evelyn kicked off. She said, I really want to go with Mummy, and Kim said, yeah, that's fine, of course you can. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to go back to work. I'll start getting dinner ready. I can play something for 20 minutes, half an hour, and I actually then just played Wipeout Omega Collection rather than going back to Greedfall, because I didn't want to kind of then go, do I want to stream this? Don't I want to stream this? I'll just play something completely different instead. And I mean, luckily for me, Kim went to get her patch test, which was across the road from her friend's house, and they then went over there for half an hour, so I got a little bit of extra time on Wipeout. But it's kind of, as you say, Aadil, these kind of artificial gates, I'm kind of now putting up for myself. I should probably just wipe away. No continued runs on streams, just new stuff every time.
I was say, and like there will always be another game that you can stream.
Yeah, or just start playing League of Legends, stream that set.
Yeah, earn you millions that way. I'll play Dota.
It's alright. I think I was playing through, and it was we only had a few people in the stream. There wasn't very many people. Of course, I didn't advertise it. We're only very small, and I think I was playing through, and I probably said fuck several times, and
Oh fuck! I
You
didn't
can't
even
put
think
realised. I'm like,
warning on.
oh, is this allowed? I don't know. Who knows? I haven't got a clue.
Anything's allowed on Twitch.
Well,
Uh,
is
You
it?
can
No,
film people in
cleavage.
toilets.
You can say you can say what you want and you can do what you want. The repercussions come later, maybe.
There are no repercussions. Do whatever the hell you like.
Exactly.
Scummy YouTubers.
Oh, right, let's move on from this absurdity, and we'll come to you, Lucy, this week for
Yeah.
whatever it is you'd like to discuss with us.
I've not really played anything from, well, at least from this decade. Well, that's
Yay.
not true. I played a game.
That's all right.
I played Puzzle Agent 1 and 2 because after the Telltale closure, I was just like, when you're just like, oh, which games they made, stuff like that. Just, looking through their back catalogue. It's like, oh, I never played Puzzle Agent, so I put those on my wish list, and they went on sale last week. Probably because, Telltale have been revived, so to speak, and
Yeah.
they're probably just putting all those past games on sale, probably to earn a bit more revenue before they, completely gear up to being a, studio again. But yeah, I bought Puzzle Agent 1 and 2. They're fun games, they're very much what Telltale was known for, like very loose interpretation of like a point and click adventure. It's usually just the narrative just carrying you through. You're not really interacting or have the inventory or something like that. You're just doing the minimal amount of clicking, which is exactly what I wanted. Minimal input, but still having fun. And yeah, the catch of those games is that throughout the narrative, which is bizarre and bonkers and doesn't really make sense and doesn't really have a satisfying finish over the two games, because the first game leaves on like a cliffhanger and then the second game picks up the story as soon as it left off and still doesn't have a satisfying ending, but the story's nonsense. It's when you know it was written by, is it Jake Rodkin and Sean
Vanneman,
who wrote Firewatch.
Yep.
It makes sense. It's like, oh, you guys do alright and then you just fail at the ending, so there you go. But
now that's a fiery hot take.
Hey.
But even so, just like Firewatch, I very much enjoyed it. It's just intersected with like just puzzles, like logic puzzles, like something that you could find in a magazine or a book that you pick up from, I don't know, W.H. Smith or something. And it's like so puzzles range from like, oh, spot the difference, or a logic puzzle, or a mathematics puzzle, or a maze puzzle, or all these, quite a diverse range. And it's just nice to sit back to, play it on like a Sunday morning or something with a cup of tea, and it's just cool. Like, I preferred the second game over the first. I think the puzzles were just better and a bit more clear in their instructions, because you're basically graded every time you do a puzzle, the amount of hints you use, how many times you get it wrong and stuff like that. And I wasn't bothered too much about the gradings, so if you are, maybe that would do your head in if there's something that you misunderstand from like the rules and the instruction. But I was just like, just doing puzzles. It's surrounded by a quirky story. The animation's pretty good. Everyone's got like this early Simpsons, like very bulbous, wide-eyed Homer, not knowing what's going on eyes. But the voice acting's really good as well. Definitely heard Clementine in there. She voiced like every Telltale game. Can't remember, what is it? Melissa
something,
Hutchinson or something like But fun games from 2010 still hold up. Very good. Played them on Steam.
Nice.
I think I bought them both for the price of like £4. So happy with that. Another Telltale game ticked off my list.
Nice. It's talking of The Simpsons. Kim and I watched Fahrenheit 11/9 last night, which is the new Michael
Not
Moore
9/11.
documentary. No, not Fahrenheit 9/11. Fahrenheit 11/9, which talks about because it was the 9th of November when Donald Trump was elected president, and it's a documentary all about that. But it showed the clip of him coming down the escalator on his way to announce his run for presidency, and I paused it, and I'm like, Kim, do you know that The Simpsons predicted all of this? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I brought it up, and I'd managed to pause it at the exact right moment that matched up with the picture of him coming down the escalator with Meliana. And Kim's like, what? And we just went down this rabbit hole of Simpsons predictions. And that was it. Night done.
Sounds properly spent.
Yeah.
They're clever folks, and they know.
Absolutely.
How
How did they do that?
I mean, aliens are gonna come for us and have like tubes over their head and they're gonna be green.
Kang and Kronos.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I welcome them. Our new overlords.
Me too. They seem more efficient than they are. Anyway, other than that, I've just played Yoshi's Island. Hold on, Super Mario World 2, I believe, Yoshi's Island.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, which is just a masterpiece, you know. What else do you say? It's a what is it, 1995?
Correct.
Yeah, it's Nintendo at their best. And that's it, really.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's better than the Yoshi game I played this year. And that game's...
What one was that? Woolly World?
That was Crafted
Yeah.
World. Yeah. Woolly World was also really good. I really like those Yoshi games, but, you know, in terms of the art style and, like, the puzzles and just the ingenuity and how nothing is reused, and there's also all these surprises, and it's just charming as hell. Other than Baby Mario crying, which is god awful. It's just a 10 out of 10 game, you know. It's like it's taken me a long time to play it. I mean, I had it on the SNES Classic. It's like I've never played like more than an hour of it.
Right.
So this is why like the Super Nintendo games on Switch is just perfect. It's like why I've wanted to like replay, because this is the perfect platform to do it on. It's like Super Metroid I bought on 3DS XL, and then it came in the SNES Classic, but it's like I want to replay that game all the way through, but this is just the perfect time to do it because it's handheld. I mean, 3DS is handheld, but my hands hurt. It's too small. You know, my hands hurt on Switch as it is, and I've got a grip on Switch
rather than
and it's still too small.
Yeah.
The raptor claw is real just playing on those. But what's even better about the Switch online? I'm not going to call it the Switch Online Super Nintendo Online Classic Edition or whatever it is that you can like rewind just like that. It's
really
like like sort of in I think the Capcom collections do this where you can just rewind, and it's just perfect. It's like, oh, I messed that up. It's like, oh, instead of doing that whole thing again, it's just like, no, I'll just rewind.
How far back does it take you?
A good few minutes, I think. A good few frames. So
minutes or frames?
Quite a ways back.
Okay.
A couple minutes probably.
See,
so
you knew this.
So it's
the
checkpointed.
Original NES.
I don't
also
think the
had
NES
a
game.
rewind.
I think they only did suspend points on the NES. I think they've only introduced rewind.
No, the original
SNES?
NES did. It would take you back to the beginning of your game session. It was called the reset button.
Sorry, Ben, you had a real question?
I really didn't mean to overtalk you twice for that bad joke, but I was like, oh, well, now I've done it.
So have they kind of have they gone back and have they inserted some kind of like checkpointing? Like if you're playing a certain set of platforming elements and you mess up at this point, are you and then on a different run you'll mess up at this point, are you still taking back to that same like checkpoint almost, or is it a time frame?
It's just a time frame. Okay. It's just not even a checkpoint system. It's like your gameplay.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're going to revert you back to this state at this checkpoint, like a normal, oh, I died, you go back to this checkpoint.
Yeah.
It's just rewinding your actual gameplay.
So if you'd gone to go for a wee, you'd left it for like 1 minute and 30 seconds, you came back, and then within that first 30 seconds you died, you'd rewind basically those 2 minutes to exactly the same point that you were stood at if you hadn't paused it, sort of thing. Yeah,
it's really good technology, really good emulation in that way. And yeah, it's because Nintendo have always had, with their virtual console and now this, or they've always had like suspend points, which is like, oh, I just want to save here.
Yeah.
You can I think you have up to like 5 save points in the SNES and I think NES ones, but and then you can just reload the checkpoint. I think on 3DS you only have 1, whereas in this one you have 5, which is good. Because you can definitely soft lock yourself sometimes into games by using the suspend point, but in this one it's not a problem. And you have like the rewind. I mean, Yoshi's Island is not a hard game, so I rarely use it, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have it. But it's like, oh, I accidentally didn't make this jump, I'm going to have to run back all the way here and go back up. It's like, oh no, I'll just rewind it. It's like, just want an easy experience. It's not a hard game. I'm still getting the regular challenge of the game. Like, still losing Baby Mario and having to pluck him out of the sky whilst he's crying. But
like a real baby.
Yeah. But it's you're still getting the pure experience, but it's just with so much more ease and comfort and convenience. And this is how I will play these games, you know, like.
Oh, so it's a buffer.
It's just so much easier.
So Nintendo released in one of the communications, they said in role-playing games such as Super Mario RPG, players can go back a few minutes, but with action titles like Super Mario World, it's about 40 seconds.
Okay.
Oh. That's good that it's good that it's different between different titles.
Yeah, it's literally just they've just using like RAM, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just RAM dumping.
Yeah, you just hit the ZL and ZR.
The what?
And then Z.
Thank you.
Sorry. Anyway, it's like when PlayStation said it's the cross button, and people say like, oh yeah, people in the UK say cross. It's like, no, we don't.
No, it's the fork.
And it's like
the fork button.
It's the plus at 45-degree angle button.
Yeah. Nice. I like that a lot.
It's the, anyway, Yoshi's Island is still a great game. I will now get on to Link to the Past. I will finish that, and I will go through Super Metroid again, which is one of the greatest games of all time, and it's. You know, I think I prefer Yoshi's Island to Super Mario World.
Really? I haven't played all the way through Yoshi's Island ever.
I'm on level 5-6 now, or 5-5.
Okay.
Of 6 worlds. I think I prefer it to Mario World. And like, if someone said to me Mario World is the best game ever made, and I'd be like, you're damn right. But I prefer Super Mario Bros. 3. I think I prefer Super Mario Land 2.
Yeah.
Land
6
2?
golden coins. Super Mario Land 2.
Wow.
That's the one with Wario, isn't it?
No. That's 3. Or is Wario the end boss?
There's too many games.
Marios, yeah. But I think I prefer this. This might be my 3rd favourite Mario game. Well,
so I've got 2 questions. I've got 2 questions for you, Lucy. I know I asked you in the Discord chat how many times you'd purchased Super Metroid. But I think the actual question I should have asked is, and this is only question number 1 of 2. The first question is, how many times have you played Super Metroid?
Not many. Because I... Like, the Virtual Console was only a thing with the Wii.
Yeah.
I deserted Nintendo for a long time. I didn't.
Yeah.
Even the thought of the Wii just makes me angry. It's like, who wants to play with motion controls? Nobody. I didn't like the GameCube. I was like, what is this?
Mate, the GameCube's fucking amazing.
Nah. I was like,
mate,
nah.
it's got a handle. You can take it where you want.
And I had a
you fucking
PlayStation.
beat me to it.
No, because it was a choice between getting a GameCube and
Hey, look.
PlayStation 2, and I was like,
Lucy, you might not realize
there's
that, but
only one answer.
you can definitely handle a GameCube.
Nay.
I don't want to. I was like, what is this with these stupid little discs?
Let's spin back.
This
Oh, they were
stupid
so
little
tiny.
Cube. I'll just play Def Jam Fight for New York on PlayStation 2. Thank you very much. You're not going to get 50 cents.
And I'm there
bulletproof
playing
on
fucking
a
Final
GameCube.
Fantasy, Crystal Chronicles, Metal Gear Twin Snakes, Double Dash.
And the Wii just.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I put aside my hate and got a Wii U for what's the name of that game? That's Stealth Inc. 2.
Oh.
Which I was really excited.
Okay.
I remember the first
Yeah.
Stealth Inc. game, and then Captain Toad's Treasure
Treasure
is the
Tracker,
best
yes.
game on that system.
Mm. So, question number 2
Yeah.
has gone from my mind completely.
Yeah. Oh. To answer question number 1 properly, so not many times. It's like I've not really owned that game many times. It's like most of Nintendo stuff. It's like because I don't emulate things. It's like I just leave it in the back of my memory, all the way back there, and it's like I have fond memories of it. But I don't really go back to games anyway.
Yeah. Right, I remember question number
Especially
2.
long games like Super Metroid. Yes.
Question number 2. So, you know, you have talked about like, you know, Yoshi's Crafted World, Yoshi's Woolly World. When did Yoshi drop the Super Mario prefix? Was it just the first game essentially that had it? And I'm not asking. I'm not.
It was just that one because
Did it kind of like, you know? Did Yoshi essentially just kind of like have that one game and then came out kind of as his own character? And I think more so, or more pertinent at least to you, Lucy. Like, is it kind of like, is Yoshi one of those characters like you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll play this game. It's a Yoshi game, sure.
No, I'm not that attached to Yoshi. I always played him in Super Mario Kart and Toad.
Because he was a bit faster. Yeah,
Toad's a
Toad.
dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Toad's
every
my
time.
dude, but you know,
Dry
I'd
bones.
play Yoshi. I'd play Toad. No. I mean, Yoshi's always been his own thing since Super Mario World. Really, that was the only game. Well, that's what introduced him, and then it's like he had like, wasn't there like Yoshi's Cookie and stuff like that? I mean, Yoshi's an independent man.
Yeah, so 1995, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. 1997, Yoshi's Story.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
'cause
straight away.
I'm sure in
yeah.
Japan it wasn't even called Super Mario World 2. I think it was just
Called.
I'm sure it was a different title.
Right.
Maybe.
They
It was
adopted
yeah.
Yoshi
Super-
before everyone else.
Oh, in Japan it was Super Mario Yoshi Island.
Okay. So it still had
No
Mario in
H?
the
Yeah.
title.
Yossy.
Oh.
I guess they
There's
changed
There's a guy on like Nintendo Life and he calls him Yoshi.
Yoshi versus Yoshi.
Yeah, it's like who calls him Yoshi?
Yoshi.
It's Yoshi.
That just seems weird.
Yeah, that's
Yoshi.
That
Yeah.
makes my brain hurt.
Yeah.
That's worse than Lucy saying Z.
Mate, I'm just Yoshiing with you. I'm just Yoshi with you.
It's Yoshi.
Yoshua.
It really disturbs me. But anyway, yeah, Yoshi's great. And it's still great to see like that DNA, like the red coins and like throwing the eggs as projectiles and just eating people and pooping them out as eggs, and that just carry over to the new games. Yeah, that spirit is still there. They're not as good as Yoshi's Island. That's just a pretty damn good fine game from 24 years ago. It's nuts. It's like how do they make it? I think made it in like 18 months. It's like
It's just smashed
it's
it out.
like,
Like,
what? How do you make like such a masterpiece in such a small time? And like, I don't know, God of War takes like 6 years. I mean, you know, obviously like 3D assets are hard, and like, you know, a lot more gameplay systems going.
nah, that's it. That's the only difference.
It's like I'd rather play Yoshi's Island than God of War. You know, it's like
Fair.
it's a better game.
So we've been talking this week
It's
that
just
we've
crazy.
all gone back to Celeste. You know, they've released some new levels and stuff, and
Yeah, but to
and-
get
Yes,
to that,
all
it's
of us.
a damn
We have all done
hard
this.
thing. It's like I didn't even know there was a chapter 8, and I wish I still didn't know there was a chapter 8 because oh my god,
mate.
because I found Celeste not easy. I'm not going to say it was easy, but
Manageable.
fine, like manageable.
Mm.
I probably had a easier time with it than other people, but chapter 8, jeez.
Yeah, I've got to a point in Celeste where I'm presented with a wall and I need to have 4 blue hearts to get past.
Yes, that's where I
Yeah.
got to. Then I looked up a guide and saw where the blue hearts were.
That's
was
exactly
like,
what
I
I'm
never
thinking
would've
I
found
need to
these
do.
on my
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the 4 blue hearts, and then oof,
Ooh.
it's like some fire and ice level. It's hard. It's like, oh my god, I meant to do this to get to chapter 9. This might be an assist mode thing. I might have to do that.
yeah.
And I didn't never use that in the main game because just didn't feel the need to. But damn, this is for pro players, and I'm not that. I can play 140 on a mouse and keyboard, but I cannot play these sort of levels.
But it's good.
at
It's
all.
good that games are still throwing stuff out and expanding and, you know, challenging people and want them to kind of return to them and just be able to, you know, keep going, keep in the mindset. You know, whether we get a Celeste 2 in, you know, a little bit of time or something
I don't
else
think I
from
want
that
one.
team, from Matt Thornton and the other people that kind of worked with, or we get something else
Yeah.
from them, and it's just everyone's thinking about these additional levels that we got for free for Celeste, and they're like, yes, I'm more than happy to support the next game that kind of you bring out.
Incredible game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still the best game that came out in the year of 2018. It was better than everything else that came out that year.
Ooh, it is phenomenal.
It's better than Red Dead. Come on.
Oh mate, I don't know.
Do you want to go through the 900 firefight in the 900th hour of that game? Or
Mate, I
just
did it
rather
all.
time
Did everything.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything.
Yeah. It's better than Red Dead.
I didn't do all the fishing
What?
Oh, who did?
or all the
I didn't do
hunting.
most of the stuff in that game because spoilers didn't want to play it after spoilers.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fair. Although the
Spoilers.
it's not spoilers if I don't include characters. The house building scene is excellent.
That's cool.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
I was
The
speaking to
song
someone
that
about
goes
that
along with that's really good.
Today, yeah, I was speaking to someone about that today, and we literally had a 5-minute debate. I was like, "You played Red Dead 1?" And he was like, "No, I played Red Dead 2." He was like, "Red Dead 1," because he was saying, close the ears, the deal. Spoilers. You play as the kid. He was like, "You play as the kid after so and so hits the bucket," and I was like, "You talking about Red Dead 1?" He was like, "No, Red Dead 2. I don't own Red Dead 1." It was like, which kid then?
Yeah, what kid?
Apparently John Marston's a kid.
No.
And I was like, and he
Pure
found
insanity.
that incredibly boring. And and I said, yeah, of course you would, because you haven't played the first game. Anyway,
Yeah, right.
come back to
That was enjoyable.
So,
Yeah.
That's why you go on the
this. About
YouTube
as
folks.
enjoyable as that.
Well, exactly.
vlog.
it's why people don't
So-
actually play games. They just look at story things on YouTube instead.
Yeah.
That's what kids do these days.
Bloody
Why
kids.
play a game when you can watch someone play a game?
Hey, I do that with horror games, so I'm not going to judge, you know?
Oh, but I
Because
want
I'm just a weepy
Oh,
baby.
maybe
I'm
I
gonna
should do
start
that. Maybe I
streaming
should
me
be a
watching
horror. Yeah.
Let's Plays.
Oh.
Do that.
Streaming
That's how,
yourself watching other
Watching.
people playing.
Yes, it's the next level, man.
No, please, because
Like, oh man,
the reaction,
that guy's an idiot.
the reaction to trailers is bad enough as it is. So it's like, why would I want to watch you react to a trailer?
Yeah.
Dude
Oh,
reacts
mate,
to Let's Plays.
You can just see it like, this guy's shit,
gonna
this
watch-
party's shit, this
yeah,
is awful,
I'm gonna
this
watch-
is really bad,
yeah.
really bad playing. Like, oh, why didn't you jump at that? That wasn't even
Yeah,
scary. What's
yeah.
going on?
That's actually good. We
Don't
should
go
do
in the
that.
door.
It'll be like Gogglebox for booze.
Oh man, exactly right.
Oh, it would be. It would be. Oh no.
Oh man,
They'll be like, why do these kids find the video games
The problem
so
is,
fun? And we'd be like,
you
they're
know,
not fun.
why
It's
is he
awful.
talking
Who's
over this video game play?
Yeah.
I don't want to be. You know,
This guy.
I'm at
Why
that
is
point
his
in my
hair
life.
funny?
I'm at that point in my life. I don't want to be mean to anyone. So you'd have to find someone who's very robust and is able to take a little bit of criticism, because no one seems to be able to take criticism these days. But you find someone that is very robust, can take criticism, and that you can kind of say, hey, dude, we're gonna do this as a little bit of, you know, it's very satirical.
Mm.
Can we just do a watch along to your Let's Play a stream on your stream? How does that even fucking
mean,
work?
Piggyback
It's
on
a Let's
your,
Watch.
Ooh.
Patent pending.
Let's watch. Bop, bop. Let's finish there for this week.
I'm gonna
With
be
the next-
there.
Man of
With the
Medan,
next
by
level
the
of
way.
entertainment just coming. Man of Medan? No, I haven't.
I think there's a demo up. So.
Oh, really?
Just speaking of horror games. Yeah.
Oh.
I downloaded a demo on Xbox. I'm sure
Oh,
there'll be
yeah,
one
it's
on PlayStation. Don't know about PC. Where is it? Is it on PC? I'd imagine so.
I would
'cause they're
think so, yeah.
cross-platform now.
I don't know. Ooh.
Check on PlayStation if they have it. They didn't advertise it. I just saw it randomly, like, because I just wanted to check the price, and they were like, "Play the
Yeah.
free trial." I was like, "Okay, I'll download that."
Have you
Watch
played it?
Sean watch Sean Ashmore see how many assets they stole from Quantum Break.
Yes, it is on PC.
Is there a demo?
That's what I'm just saying. I just searched Man of Medan PC, and it instantly
I wanna
came
play
up.
that Blasphemous
now-
demo as well.
Searching Man of Medan demo. I just got lots of videos, so I don't know. Well, I do the Blasphemous demo was a very limited time thing, and it's now
I
it's now
downloaded it at that time,
oh
so-
okay, fair enough. Yep, good.
Mhm.
I don't think you can download it anymore. Now it's been released.
No.
I don't think you can download the demo.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. It's like just have it open at all
Yeah,
times.
absolutely. It will draw more people in, surely.
Absolutely.
Well, they're trying
'Cause
to
it's like, oh,
get
this
like
feels fun.
people to actually play it because they have to play it that weekend. I think they'll re-release the demo soon. Like it's just one of these like
No, because
stunts,
what
right?
was the name of it? That archaeology game.
Day of the Tentacle.
From. Does that have archaeology?
Archaeology game.
Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, which I also played recently.
Yeah, that's actually what I meant
Has
to say, and then I was
archaeology.
like, fuck, I got
Right,
the wrong
okay.
LucasArts
Yeah.
game.
Sam Neill Simulator.
Okay. If you've never watched Jurassic Park, you may not get that reference. But
Everyone's watched Jurassic Park.
I-
At least the people old enough
that
to drink.
archaeology game, made from the people who did 80 Days, I think. Inkle.
Inkle, yeah.
Mm.
What's it called? That game.
I don't know. Heaven's Vault.
The woman, she's got a head scarf.
Heaven's
yeah,
Vault,
the
yeah.
robot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Heaven's Vault. That had a limited time demo as well.
Yeah, which I missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I downloaded it and played like 2 minutes of it. It's like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for all this reading.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot
It
of.
seems like
There's
a
a
really
lot of.
cool game. That,
It's a very, very in-depth puzzle game. It
really,
appears like,
yeah. and I really want to play it, but I'm just not in the mood.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's very much up my my alley. All these language and linguistics kind of crap, but just can't be asked for the reading.
That's fair. So, Lucy, let's go back to beers then. We don't want to read anymore. We just want to hear about beers.
No, I cracked a kernel in the meantime, which is very good.
Nice. Which kernel?
The
dating simulator?
Oh, did you watch that? PSA everyone, there's a KFC dating simulator that's coming out on the 24th of
wait.
September for free on Steam. Buy it. Well, download it. I think we should all just
Get
play it,
Oh,
even if it's 5
absolutely.
minutes of it.
That week
For
will
that week.
just
We'll
be
stream.
based on that game. Yeah, absolutely.
Check out our impressions in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. The kernel was a Pale Ale Amarillo Citra Mosaic 5.5%. I'm not going to show you the bottle because we all know what those look
Yeah,
like.
absolutely. But does it feature what's the best beer for you this week?
Sorry, you just sprung that on me. What's the best beer for me this week?
Well, out of the beers you've drank, yes.
Sugar.
It shouldn't be
find the
sprung on
keys.
you that much. You know,
I
we
was
do this.
thinking
We
we've
do
been
do
doing
this.
for 170 odd episodes.
I'm 3 weeks dry. It's not the standing line, ginger and lime Berliner Weiss. It was a pleasant beer. Like, I drank it pretty quickly. Yeah, it just wasn't what I was expecting. It was very more lime, like cordial, very soft, very easy,
Right.
not sour at all, no ginger at all. It was just purely on the aroma, not enough like fizz and like presence to it. Even though you could still see the carbonation bubbles rising to the top, even as I finished it.
Yeah.
It was very, like, the appearance and everything like that belied the actual taste and profile of it, which was strange. Still decent enough. But yeah, it's definitely the Pamona Island Recordings Wilhelm Scream Double Dry Hot IPA, which takes it today. I didn't even know this company existed. But yeah, it was so good I forgot to take a picture of it. But yeah, just really soft, really easy. It had slightly full body that had like a creamy texture. The head was just like fluffy as well. It was just an easy going drink. It would be perfect for like the summer.
Yeah.
Nice bit of fruit at the start, and just a really, well, it was quite striking, the piney and resinous like taste to it. But as I got into the beer, it's like it's just perfectly balanced with that fruit at the start, and then nice piney bitterness at the end. It was
Nice.
really good, top-notch beer. Like, wasn't really expecting much of anything, so really, really surprised by that. And I'll be picking up another of their beers next time.
Good.
Very happy.
Good. For me, I'm going the opposite way. Not my first beer, not the IPA, not the 6.5 IPA. The Verdant I Saw a Horse at Work was nice. Yeah, very easy beer. I could very easily drink again, but it wasn't doing very much, really. You know, it was a very simple kind of Verdant beer, really. Stewed fruits, a little bit of bitterness, and that was kind of about it. The North Brewing and Brouwerij Kees collaboration, the Imperial Stout, was full of flavour. Absolutely hit me straight away, and it worked all of those different flavours in. You got the caramel, you got the chocolate, you then got the coffee, you then had this lovely mix of all of those flavours together, which worked really well. They all complement each other, whilst it kind of showcases like, here is this, here is this, here is this. It brings them all together to be like, they work fantastically well as a mix of flavours as well. And it just was warming. It wasn't too viscous. It sat really well. The alcohol, the 10%, did start to show itself a little more as I drank, and as I became a little bit more accustomed to the flavour. You could kind of then start to pick out, well, there is actually a little bit of a heightened sweetness that is that alcohol. There's a little bit of a heightened burn that I'm getting from this, that is the alcohol kind of creeping through. But I've had half of it already, and it's only now kind of coming through, and that's fine. That's almost what I want from this, you know, from your stout. You want a little bit of warmth in there as well. So
Definitely,
that actually, it almost elevated the beer in my mind, that suddenly when the flavours are starting to become a little bit, you know what you're getting, suddenly the alcohol creeps back in, and you're thinking, all right, this is suddenly the alcohol has come in, and it's a different flavour now. I'm getting something else from this. Halfway through the beer, something else has come in, and I'm getting that little bit more. I'm getting that warmth from the stout, which just made it even better than those first few sips, really. And it's a shame I didn't buy two, because I would have one right now. I would very easily now go and sit for an hour, chill out for the rest of my night, and sup this for the rest of the night. It's so easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Verdant I could drink again, and would do so sort of, maybe on a day session. Very easy beer, but wasn't really doing much. Wasn't really doing anything you kind of maybe expect a Verdant beer. Maybe it's a conversation that we should have, how all of the breweries who have, built up, that we think have these certain styles, these certain flavours, Cloudwater went through a little bit of a dip kind of last year where maybe the quality wasn't quite as good. We're starting to get into a point now where breweries have been around for 4-5 years and are releasing beers that are maybe similar to previous beers that they've put out, that don't have quite as much of an impact. We're getting into those points where it's maybe just a little bit of a flavour difference between those weekly or fortnightly releases, rather than it being a big new beer that is going to blow your socks off. And it's maybe a conversation for another week about the state of craft beer and the industry at large as such. But I think the Verdant was good, not doing a huge amount. The North and the Brouwerij Keys, fantastic. So it's definitely that one this week. So there are beers for the week. Aadil!
Me?
You. If people want to talk to you, how do they do so?
They should probably open their mouths, vibrate their vocal cords. You can reach me at the Omniarch on all of the things.
Good. Lucy.
Nice, short and sweet.
Yeah. If people want to talk to you, how do they do so?
Also short and sweet. It's Juicy Loose 9 everywhere.
Nice. I am at Nova_47 almost everywhere, at least on the systems that I own. You can get us all at Tanked Up Cast on Twitter, on Instagram. We've been so quiet because I've been so busy. Sorry.
I haven't looked at Instagram in probably about 6 years.
And that's fair. It's a dead platform. No one cares anymore.
It always was. Yeah. It's like there's only so many times I can look at a chicken burger.
We really should be making TikTok videos to get all them juicy.
What is
that's
that?
it. Who knows?
Is that like Snapchat?
There's some music in the background.
It's like the original idea was like lip syncing or music, but I'd like Vine length.
It's like Vines now, yeah.
Yeah, it's really leaving the space of Vines.
But you do music.
Yes,
you don't have to.
It's original, like Big Thrust was a bunch of music stuff, but now I think there's a lot of people
tonight, Matthew,
doing
I'm gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
Celine Dion.
Tonight, I'm gonna be Freddie Mercury. Just a moustache.
Wow.
Oh, maybe I'll do a TikTok of watching your Let's Play.
Maybe I'll sing.
There's too many platforms, for fuck's sake.
You see, I see it like advertised on like before YouTube videos. I thought it was like one of those weird things.
It is a weird thing, yeah.
Virus.
Yeah, it probably will.
If you downloaded it.
What kind of virus though? Like bird flu or something on your machine? Who knows?
Tuberculosis.
So yes,
get the millennial flu.
We are at Tanked Up Cast everywhere except
just so
TikTok.
Cringy.
I know.
It's like you just see chill. It's like I can't skip those ads quick enough.
Go to outoflives.net to look at other articles, listen to other podcasts, watch some videos that we're all kind of putting up. You can go to our Twitch stream, our Twitch channel, which is Out of Lives Network, I think.
Yes.
I'll probably be streaming at some point, either Monday or Tuesday, depending on when I have meetings and those sorts of things, and I have to actually do my job. Other people, we host other people like MC Fixer or Ryu101. Is he Ryu101? Andy.
Ryu spelled
RYEW, and Alpha
Not
Goose
like
as well, who's been
Ryu.
yes, and Alpha Goose who's
Who's
been
Alpha
streaming a
Goose?
lot of WoW Classic, going back to the original Alpha Goose, mate. He's in the Discord. Come to just chat in the Discord, mate. Yeah, so you can go to our Twitch channel. Is that a channel? Is it a stream? I don't fucking know.
It's a channel.
All of these
Untitled
fucking
Goose.
things. Untitled Goose Game, which is supposedly coming out this year.
If Alpha Goose, yeah, it's coming out in like a week.
I was just
If-
saying,
if,
this
um,
month.
If,
yeah.
If
That
Alpha
and the
Goose
Colonel
doesn't
Sanders
stream
game.
that-
Mate,
Set.
that's our next
have
2
you-
weeks of
Did you
episodes.
see Devolver's tweet where
No.
they said the Colonel dating sim is not a gritty like sequel to
To
Compatible
Untitled.
Boyfriend
Oh, I don't know.
where they all got made.
Nice.
Chicken.
Hey, it looks like what's the
That's really good.
what's the guy? Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
Dream Daddy.
Yeah. And Dream Daddy's. I bought it and or did I get it for free? I can't remember. But yeah, I want to play Dream Daddy. Seems cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now I've got something even better. Colonel Daddy.
That's Colonel Daddy.
Finger licking good.
Colonel Daddy and just a fucking belligerent honker running around someone's garden stealing their hat. Mate, all I want to do is be a goose and steal someone's fucking hat and just go
Yeah.
"Ah!"
Okay.
at someone
much
for
all of
fucking just for a week. That's it. Ah. Right, yes, that's it for the week.
What is that coming to? Is that coming to
Switch and
platform
PC,
near
I
you
think.
then? Oh, it's on PC.
I'm pretty
that's
sure
good.
it's on
Yeah.
PC as well.
Good.
Yes.
We'll all play the goose game.
So, those games are upcoming. You know what's coming in the next couple of weeks now from us. So, for this week, we've been tanked up by...
Honk.
Oh, well done.
Ciao.
www.outoflives.net